Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host, How to Fight CPS and Hang On to Your Children. Now, you probably want to know, what is CPS? Now, most of you do know it, but those that don't, it's not a very friendly place that I've found from my experience and from talking to loads of people there. But the fight CPS, right there itself is saying there's something wrong with an agency. Now, the branch of social services has a group of social workers that are supposed to protect our children from abuse and from neglect. Furthermore, they're supposed to help you with food, shelter, clothing, transportation, education, medical, and a job. And if it's necessary, when they take your children because of extreme danger, they're supposed to do family reunification. I call that particular agency CPS, which stands for the Child Protection System. The Child Protection System is found in every county and every state. It's going to have other names. Like in Arizona, it's called the Department of Children's Services, DCS. In Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. In California, it's called the Child Protection Services, CPS. So when I say CPS, I mean the Child Protection System that's found in every county and every state in the USA. Now, I'm on twice a day doing a live podcast on YouTube. I use the StreamYard application. I come on Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, and I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. And then again, I'm on at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. And I've been doing this for over a year now. And I've talked to over 600 some people, plus 600 some people. And what I've done is that I've shared what I know about CPS. I'm not an attorney, but I am a loving father and a family man who's been married for 42 years. I have two marriages, one for 10, another one for 32. I have 6 children, 3 younger ones and 3 older ones. And unfortunately, in the year 2010, when I turned age 60, after working for 45 years, I lost my job through no fault of my own. And excuse me for 1 second. I apologize. I'm getting some really outside interference. And I'm doing this podcast from my home. Um, and it's really hard. It really is hard because I have so much outside interference. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me and that I'm not freezing up with the internet being slow or not. I've been checking on that and don't understand why there's a lot of lag in there. But anyway, this child protection system takes children and is supposed to do family reunification. That means when they're in imminent danger, they're supposed to make all efforts to bring the family back together because studies have shown that families, biological parents are the best parents for raising children. More studies have shown that. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you all. I care about you all and I want to help you all. And I know that you all are experiencing a lot of heartache with the loss of your children or with child protection system invading your home, invading your life, making false allegations and trying to ruin and take away your children. They traffic children illegally. They steal children illegally. They also alienate you from your child. I know this firsthand experience because I too was in the hands of the child protection system. Unfortunately, I did not know at the time I had lost my job and I was trying to find another job that my in-laws, my wife's mother, father, 3 sisters, and brother would call in once a week about something wrong with our family. They're interfering with our lives. They never were supportive of my family. They only visit me once in 32 years. And we went back there many times to see them. They weren't at our wedding, even though they had a family member living out here in California. Her sister wouldn't show up. We went to her wedding. We went to other sisters' wedding. And we, always encourage our children to know their grandparents by sending them back east. And one of her child was a little small child. And unbeknownst to us, these people would sit there and question our children and think of ways of how to disrupt our family, how to ruin our family. And for 5 years, these accusations came on until 2015, when the child protection system contacted the local police, who in turn had a detective follow me when I picked up my son and forced me to take them to my home, and leave my wife stranded because I was in the mission of picking her up. And so I had to deal with not only the police, I had to deal with 3 social workers of CPS, 5 firemen, 2 code enforcement, 2 uniformed policemen, all in the front yard of my home and asking me to open up my home. Now, they have been out before these last 5 years to my home. They've been in my home. They inspected my home. They saw nothing wrong with my home. What happened, though, is that my dad died in 2013, and my mom was soonly following suit. And they had their belongings of 55 years of marriage, and they had a fairly good-sized home. And so my youngest daughter and I gathered all the stuff up in a U-Haul truck, a big one, to bring home to our home because they'd asked me, could you give the stuff to family and friends that would like their belongings? And at first, I put all the belongings on my garage apron with tarps over it. Well, the neighborhood, since it's a private neighborhood has an association, and they did not allow you to do that. So I had to bring everything into the home. And so I brought a lot of stuff into the living room area and had furniture and boxes piled. And what happened is that they said that was neglect when they came in to inspect my home. It was a horrible time, a horrible time. Hi, Faye. Welcome. And I want to also say welcome to Paulette from South Carolina. Both of you are beautiful people. Paulette's been in my room many times. Faye's been here a long time. It looks like many congratulations should go out to everyone. And we have a new president. And hopefully things will get better. Hopefully things will get better. And I know that worldwide and in the United States, there's a lot of positive things that will be happening. I believe our economy is going to get better. I think fuel prices are going to drop. And I think food prices are going to drop. The stock market has risen many-fold already. I think we're in a storm for good times again. And I hope to be employed at a career job soon too. But I do care about all of the individuals that have gone through so much pain and suffering. For instance, Faye, who's from Richmond, Kentucky, a very corrupt state, very corrupt with the police and the social workers, has gone through hard times. As a young child and a teenager, she was in and out of foster care 5 times. It's all because of her mom and her mom's drug habit and the way things were going there. She loves her mom. She stayed with her mom to the end. But Faye she was abused, she was molested, she was raped, and she was trafficking as a teenager, sex trafficking. And it was so sad that she was put through all that turmoil. But somehow she got a high school diploma. And with that high school diploma, she went to college and got a college degree and became a registered nurse. Now, that to me is very admirable. She had to walk on rocks and torture with her feet. She later in life had 2 children. One child was a son, but he turned out to be a special needs son, meaning that he needs help. And the other one was a daughter, a beautiful daughter that she loved and still loves. Anyway, because Faye's involvement with foster care, CPS got involved with her and wanted her children. That's what CPS does. And they're very corrupt in Kentucky. And so is the police. So they talked to her and said, you're going to have to make a choice. You cannot keep both children. How can she be a good mother for a son or a daughter and not be a good mother for both children? There is something really wrong and sick there. So her daughter, she gave up her daughter, who was put into foster care, and she has not seen her daughter since she's about 3 months old. And she now is about 12 years old. And she had opened up her case after 13 some years because she thought that the cabinet had changed and they had a new ombudsperson. And of course, her hopes were high. She was misled. And then she later found out they hadn't changed. She wants her daughter to know that she always has loved her and did not want to give her up. That was a choice Faye didn't make. That was a choice that the child protection system did in there in Kentucky. As Faye says, I was forced to give up my daughter in order to save my son. Now that's a horrible, horrible thing for a agency that's supposed to entrust our children, that is supposed to take care of our children. That is really bad. And I don't know how to, equate that, because to me, if you notice, she has a picture of her daughter as her profile picture, a beautiful, beautiful infant. And she was forced to give up her daughter to save her son. Her son needs help. He's special needs. If she is okay to be with her son, why is she not okay to be with her daughter? So anyway, Faye, has a lots of issues, but she's here because she cares about you all. She wants to help. She wants to be a part of my show and help. And it's been really impressive these months for what she's said, and she's very intelligent. She articulates well, she writes well, and she is a good mother, and she is a woman that's been hurt and scorned and everything, but she still takes care of her son. She loves animals, so she has her cats and dogs. Now, Paulette is somebody I just get to know. She's from South Carolina, and her husband has invaded her with her 4 children and made up all kinds of stories and hurtful things about Paulette, and moves from place to place. She is always finding out, and she wants to have her 4 children. She wants to see them. She's entitled to that. That's nothing wrong with that. So Paulette has been trying to listen and trying to save and have visitation rights with her 4 children. So those are 2 good people, Kentucky and South Carolina. I've also had a lot more people in this room. I've talked to over 600 people in every state of the USA, including Washington, D.C. And they have said something common that you all have right now. They take my children. They traffic my children. They abuse my children in foster care. Foster care is a short way to adoption. Foster care parents are not well schooled or educated in how to take care of children. They want to adopt children because the normal way of adopting children is, 1, you have to be vetted, meaning you got to be checked out both state and federally if you're a good parent. 2, it takes several years to adopt a child and lots of money. But in foster care, it doesn't do that. In 6 months, they can be a foster parent. There's no license, very little education, and the child protection system uses them all the time to traffic the children into their hands so that they can collect money. The Child Protection Agency is a money laundering business. They have taken over $1 trillion a year in public funds, money that comes from the federal government that is so easily sent to the state, who in turn so easily send it to the county. They're not transparent. There's no watchdog. The money is not accountable for. There are no directors, no supervisors, no one in charge of CPS. Yes, there's a civil rights coordinator or ombudsperson at the state or federal level, and then there's a director. And the director may have some senior social workers, but it's very loosely done. I know from experience. I was in Orange County. The director of child protection system there worked in his own office, which was a high rise of something like 15 stories. It was a green, it looked like the Emerald City of the Wizard of Oz or the Taj Mahal of India. It was so rich, and you'd think, is that where the money is going to be spent? No, the money's been spent on the social workers in bonuses, incentives. My social worker always talked about her Gucci purse she got every week, or about her eyelashes, her her makeup, her accessories, her clothing, her BMW car. She bragged about all these things. She got it because she kept our children in child protection system's hands. You see, they were getting $20,000 per child per month. That's $60,000 for 3 children. They stole 3 of my younger children. My wife and I were devastated when they took all 3. All 3 were in school at the time. They felt they were in danger. You see, they don't follow their own rules. They don't care because why? There are not too many people that are low income that maybe have lost a job or has a hiccup in their life that knows how to fight CPS. CPS is very corrupt. You're like Alice in Wonderland. You've gone into the yard, you found the rabbit hole in the garden, and you met the Cheshire cat. And the Cheshire cat has told you to go to this room and that room. And you do that like a ping pong ball. You're Alice in Wonderland. You don't know where you're going or what's going on. And they take advantage of parents. They're cruel to parents. They build you up and then take you down. They say you have visitations and then they fall apart and they don't have visitations. Or they added supervision or no visitations. When my daughter was kidnapped and trafficked into child protection system, I never saw her. The last time I saw my daughter is when it was May 2nd of 2015 was the last time I saw my daughter. Because they took my 3 children and placed them in what they call was a shelter. It's a foster care shelter. What it was a concrete block building that looked like a prison, and it was next door to the federal juvenile prison. There were juveniles, kids under the age of 18, serving time for criminal acts that they committed, and they were adjacent to the shelter's play yard. They could exchange things and talk to our children. That was their idea of protection. Furthermore, the play yard the children were allowed in was infested with bees. There were beehives and kids were stung. Luckily, our children weren't stung. And then they had to sleep in crowded, cramped quarters. They were fed lousy food. There was cockroaches. My young son said, "Dad, there are bugs everywhere." That was the environment that they're putting our children into. And their idea of school is to read them a book. Now, my 3 children were in accelerated classes. They were really good students. They were, hold on a second, please. I apologize again for the background sound. I am trying my best to do a loving podcast for all of you to take care of your needs and to help you. I thank you very much, Faye, for the thumbs up. That is beautiful. And Faye further says the judge gave an ultimatum. And that is wrong. That is wrong. CPS is corrupt. If you're in California or you're in Kentucky or South Carolina, they have gone rogue. They've gone corrupt. And what I want to do is I want to help you all. So please text me a comment or that's another way. I've told you in this room, I'm glad you're in this room. You can use emojis, and some of you have given me a thumbs up. smiley faces or hearts. Also, you can send stars if you like this podcast. Please check below to follow me. And if you want to be notified, please check below. I got good news. I'll tell you in a moment here. Another way to interact with this podcast, and Faye and Paulette are already doing so, is to type in a message, whether it's a comment or a question about your CPS case. I only talk about CPS in here, so you need to maintain that. All I ask you is you show your name. Your first name is fine. And then the city or the county and the state you're from. And if you're from another place outside of the USA, a country, please include not only your name and your city, but a province and some more states and your country so that I have an idea where you're from. And so far, I've had Bangladesh, New Delhi, India. I've had Liberia, who recently joined us. And then I have Saudi Arabia. Then down in Africa, I've had Liberia in the northwest corner of the state on the coast, small country. Then I've had Rwanda near Lake Victoria in Central East Africa, Mozambique on the east coast opposite Madagascar, and in South Africa, I've had the West Coast province. Then going up north to Europe, I've had England, Scotland, and Wales, part of the United Kingdom, and Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, I've had several provinces in Canada that have texted in. And recently, this past weekend, I had someone from Vancouver, British Columbia, that had texted in a message. And then, of course, had all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. Then south of border, Mexico. And then South America, I've had Grenada, who is opposite Venezuela to the east, and north of Brazil on the east coast of South America. Then across the Pacific to the land down under, I've had Australia. And I had the Sydney area, which is on the Gold Coast, the east coast of Australia. Then I've had Melbourne on the south coast of Australia. And Melbourne is in the state of Victoria, and Sydney is in the state of New South Wales. And so, please text in a comment with those parameters. Also, can you be complete with your case, meaning what kind of a family do you have? Is it a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend? Are you lovers? Are you a partnership? Are both parents involved? Are you a single parent raising the children? And are there multiple parents of those children? Are all the children the same mom and dad? And then what were the ages of the children and the sexes of the children? And what was the neglect or abuse charges? A little bit more detail. And how were the children taken if they were taken? I like to know that. It helps me understand your situation. And also where you're at on your case. Now, a third way of interacting with this podcast is be a guest. And we have lots of guests on my podcast. All you have to do is email my show producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com. She works really hard at maintaining the show, and I want to thank her. That's Grace at vincentwdavis.com. You email her with one of my show times that you want to be on. There are 14 shows. You can be in my morning show or evening show, and Saturday through Monday. You know, my Saturday morning show or my Wednesday evening show, you just tell her in the email. She in turn will give you a link. and that link will get you on to SteamYard. And if you get knocked off, don't panic. Use that link again. It's good for the life of the show. So you'll be on there. She's going to go over things that you cannot do and do, such as no eating or smoking on the show. And we do not use the names of children, judges, or social workers. And then she'll help you with your lighting and your sound. Try to use a computer. If you have a phone, it's okay. It's okay. Now, one thing nice about being a guest is you will qualify for a free 15-minute session with Mr. Davis. You'll be able to talk to him about your case, how to navigate CPS, how to get back your children. And you will have a private Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis for 15 minutes at no charge. It's to help people to get guests. So if you want to speak to a real attorney, and you heard him at the beginning of the show, that he has 35 years in this business, and he is a dependency family juvenile attorney. He knows the laws. He's a pit bull. He's been fighting for 35 years. And he's also sued the agency for civil lawsuits and won millions of dollars. So please email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. And that way you'll be on my show. You'll get that free 15-minute with Vincent Davis, a Zoom meeting. Now, if you want more time, I have another way you can have more time with Vincent Davis. You can have up to 30 minutes for a small price of $60. That's 30 minutes. All you do is go to the website, https://candidly.com/apps, PTS, VWD / Bob Pace. When you go there, put your credit card down and you get 30 minutes of private consultation with Mr. Davis for $60. So that's another way you can speak to Mr. Davis. And that will remain up on the screen at the bottom of my screen. Now, a fourth way is you can call in live now to my podcast. I'm at 626-698-0990. That is my office number. Now, we got all the glitches out of Vonage. Vonage is the phone application we use. I can now text again, which for a long time, for many months, I wasn't able to. And so the phone system is working, and I have it on right now. So if you want to call in, it's 626-698-0990. Now, some of you probably question, what is that other number, 888-888-6582? That's the number of the law offices of Vincent W. Davis. That's up there, so in case you already know you want to retain him, you can call that number. When you call that number, you reach the office staff. Make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And when you do talk to Vincent Davis, make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. Also at that number are the other areas of law: immigration, workman's comp, insurance claims, divorce, criminal matters, etc. Anything that has to do with the law, he's got an attorney for that. So it's a great law firm, Vincent W. Davis Associates. Vincent handles the dependency law, the family juvenile dependency law. And he's really good at what he does. He really is. And I strongly urge you to take him up. Also, if you do call in, and after you call in, I'll ask you if you want time with Mr. Davis. He'll give you a free 15-minute consultation if you call in. So you get that 15 minutes of free time. So my number's live. Do not call before or after my show hours. I cannot answer the phone. So you can call in at 626-698-0990. And we can talk about your case. So there's lots of ways you can interact with this podcast. One is by using this room and taking notes. A second one is by texting messages. A third one is to be a guest on my podcast. A fourth one is to call in and talk. I'll put you on speakerphone and you can call and text in. I don't understand. There's some type of a lag there, Grace, and I see what you mean. And I can talk to you later about that, but somehow, I don't know why, it makes my eyes look like they're closed. Jeez. Okay. We have some comments that have come in. And Paulette has a question. When you receive paperwork in the mail from a case, will each paper I don't understand that question, Paulette. When you receive paperwork in the mail from a case, will each paper word... Well, let me see if the next one's any better, Paulette. Question. Can I be served through an email or the mail? Anybody that wants to serve notice on you has to do it in person. The mail does not count. The email does not count. From my experience, they have to knock on the door, identify you, and then serve papers. That's why a lot of people don't answer the door. That's why a lot of people don't say who they are. In order to be served or properly served, it's usually done by a sheriff, a county sheriff. And they will come out, knock on the door, and question if you are who you are. Or they see you walk by, they'll ask you. So that's the only way you can be served, Paulette. That's the only way you can be served. Okay, I'm trying so hard to prove, I know it's your divorced husband, of making up the crap up just to continue messing with my mind. Paulette, you have a very horrible situation. What I gathered, you have this man that you divorced, and he seems to want to harass you. Now, you can get a restraining order and serve it on him so he'll stay away. You can get a restraining order and you can have him stay away. 2, you need to get that attorney. If it's a divorce matter, you have to deal with a divorce court. Child protection system does not deal with divorce. They deal with children, the protection of our children from neglect and abuse. That's what CPS's primary function is supposed to do. You need to get a divorce attorney and divorce court to talk about custodian and those things that you're trying to talk about there. And criminal court is where you do the restraining order. I know it's very complicated, but I hope it's making some sense to you. Because you should not have to go through what that man does. It's one thing you guys had to end a divorce. That's hard enough as it is. I hated divorce. When my first wife of 10 years demanded a divorce from me, I was heartbroken. We had a 3-year-old child at the time. And I'll never forget it. On her birthday, May 2nd, was the last time I saw my 3-year-old daughter. And we were having a fun time at the beach for half an hour. I still have it recorded on video, old VHS tape of my time with her 30 minutes with my time. And so my first wife said, "You'll never see your daughter again." She was that vindictive. And she wanted a divorce, recyclable differences. Now, CPS was not involved, thank God. I did not know about CPS. A lot of people don't know about CPS until it's dawned on them. But fortunately, I met a new woman, and she had a daughter, and she came into my life, and it necessarily was not a replacement, but it was to supposedly continue on with marriage. I love marriage. I love taking care of my children, and I love to help others. Now, you're in a situation with CPS has got your children or got you or whatever you're at right now, and you need to address the situation. So hopefully that will help you, Paulette. Getting an attorney is the hardest thing for you all to do. It is the hardest thing. And my case was awful. I first tried the court appointed attorney. My court appointed attorney was a woman who had experience in criminal matter, but no experience in dependency law or juvenile or family matters. So I was stuck with her. And when I first met her was the day of my first hearing. There wasn't any chance to really ask questions or to participate in questions. It was terrible. I just think it was awful. So being in CPS's hands is tricky. And my court appointed attorney didn't spend any time. All she wanted was an easy out. She was friends of the social worker attorneys. She was friends of the bailiff, the sheriff. She was friends of the judge. It was like one happy family. Now in Orange County, they do not allow you in the courtroom unless it's to finalize something. You're not allowed to see your case. That is wrong. You should be able to see your case. Also, the case should be tried by a jury. Should not be one individual judge making the decision. It should be now, having a case and having my children ripped from us was a hard thing for the family to go through. But the worst part is when our social worker was on the stand testifying about the mother, about my wife's sister who is going to want to adopt our child along with her husband. Now, what she did on the witness stand, she was asked a question by my attorney. And this tells you what a social worker is thinking about. The question was asked, what kind of parents are my wife's sister and husband? Would they be good parents for my daughter, our daughter? And had they had any domestic violence before? And the social worker very carefully said they are great parents and no, they've had no involvement with domestic violence. Domestic violence, which could be an argument between two people. Not only did they have involvement, they had criminal involvement, meaning physical alterations. Not only the arguing and yelling, they were sitting there using their hands to harmfully hurt one another. And that's wrong. So she proceeded to say there are great parents and no domestic violence when my attorney asked her. He pulls out a folder with all these reports of domestic violence. Not only was it domestic violence, it was physical domestic violence. And she lied on the witness stand. She committed perjury. She was so embarrassed she left the courtroom. And then she told us parents, you'll never see your daughter again. What this social worker did behind the scenes is told her 12-year-old daughter, you can emancipate your parents. You're of legal age. In California, the age is 12. So she said, go ahead and divorce your parents, but you're also going to divorce your brother, your grandparents, your cousins and aunts and uncles. So it was a really hard thing to and she left the courtroom and she told us parents that you'll never see your daughter again. You'll never see your daughter again. And she committed to tell our 12-year-old daughters, divorce your mom, your dad, divorce your two brothers, divorce your grandparents, aunts, and uncles. Divorce the whole family. Not only that, she said to change her name completely. She got rid of her first, middle, and last name that we gave to her at birth. She sealed her birth certificate. She sealed it, saying that we weren't her biological parents, so that she could be adopted by new foster care parents who got a birth certificate that said they're their child. That is corrupt. No, when two people have a child together, those are the biological parents. You can't erase that. You can't erase that. So she retaliated. And so what I'm telling you, that is hard. That is so hard to swallow. To have your daughter wrenched from you. That is how corrupt CPS is. Furthermore, the CPS social workers in Prescott, Arizona, had been working there for over 25 years, a lot of history together. And Prescott is also known for the 4 Billy Jack movies. It was these movies of the political unrest and activism, and it was about the American Indian movement, AIM, A-M-I. American Indian Improvement, A-I-M. I'm saying that wrong. And that all took place in Prescott because the movie was about political unrest. It's also about a foster home that had all these children that had no parents, and about Indian reservations being kept in poverty and sadness. And so the movie was made, and the guy that role played and made the movie played the man with martial arts to save his Indian people. But these social workers bought these pink t-shirts. Now, pink is usually recognized as breast awareness. They usually have it with a ribbon. Breast awareness is usually what's found on pink. but they decided to stencil on the front, professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they put, do you know where your children are at? Parents, do you know where your children are at? So they wrote that on the back, they wrote that in front, and they paraded around Costco, Kmart, Walmart, Target, Best Buys, all the big stores. I'm telling you, social workers are not to be trusted. They're evil and they're bad. Now, it's okay, Faye. You're there. You're listening. It's okay. Now, we have a new person, Harley Quinn, or you've been on here before. Harley is, do you possibly take any cases from Virginia? Vincent Davis right now is doing a case in Oklahoma. He can do any state. The same department that the Office of Children Ombudsman investigated for not following policies and procedures. I am so sorry to hear that, Harley, and I'd like to hear more about your case. Now, Paulette says, that's what I thought. Okay, I know you were asking a question earlier. And thank you, Faye. Thank you very, very much. It's the way that my cushions are placed behind me. Thank you. You're going to call tonight. All right, that'd be great, Paulette. I'd be hoping to hear your voice tonight. And we have about 9 more minutes left of the podcast. And I want to thank Faye from Kentucky, Paulette from South Carolina, Harley from Virginia for being in this room and sharing their stories and questions. I know Paulette and Faye has had a horrible time. We had Akima, who's also known as KK, from Brooklyn, New York, in my room last night. She has a case on the 18th that is a fact-finding case. Hopefully things will go better for her. It's been up and down with her. So my case ended up in disaster. I did hire an attorney, Mr. Davis. I had to sell my home, and it was a quick sale of my home, and I had money to hire Mr. Davis. He got back my 2 boys, but we lost the war on my daughter because the corruptness of the social worker was so bad. The social worker was so bad. We have Danielle. Oh my God. Danielle is my old co-host who was in for a while, and she's had a really rough life as a single mom. And she now says, hello, everyone. I'm doing well. Wanted to stop by and say hello. I'm glad you did, Danielle. Stop to show some love to all. Be safe and keep fighting. Danielle is a single mom, and unfortunately, she was incarcerated for something that she did, but she served a time, and she wanted to get her son back. Her problem was her son was a special needs son, as well as her brother, and her son was in the hands of CPS. And I guess when they couldn't find her, she found them, and she wanted to get her son back, but he had been sent to another state for special needs. He was in Georgia and sent to Texas. And then he was lost, and CPS still had him at age 19, and he wanted to come home. He's a special needs. He wants to be adopted by Danielle, his mother. And hopefully that was done. Danielle, if you give me the update of where you're at with your son, You're great, because she thought, since she's taking care of her brother and special needs, and that she could take care of her son with special needs. And I'm so glad that Danielle stopped by to send some love, because that is very much appreciated, Danielle. And she's a good woman. She's a single mother, and hopefully her son is back with her. Hopefully her son is back with her. But she had been duped by CPS. They didn't recognize her, didn't even try to find her. But all of you have come into my room, have touched me, and I really want to be there for you. I really want to be there for you. I want to help you as much as I can. I've created 5 rules to help you. One is, of course, get an attorney. 2 is to get a notebook and create that special timeline, the incident page. That is the most critical thing you can create. And then please do not talk to social workers or police. Don't let them in your home, and don't let them take your children. And be careful of medical trafficking, whether you're bringing a child in for an injury or sickness, or you're coming to have a baby. Social workers will try to take away your children or your infant. So you got to be careful about that. Also, research. A lot of things I find out on the internet is how you phrase your question. You should always start off with your city. Now, if your city's small, you might want to put the next largest city, such as Athens and Atlanta, Georgia. Then after that, put the word CPS. And then after that, you can put whatever you want to ask within the realm of CPS. It's very important when you do Google search that your questions are structured right. And you should spend 60 hours. You'll learn so much. You'll learn what I've learned about fighting CPS. And it varies from state to state. But that's what you should do. And lastly, my rule is create a folder and put all your important documents in it. And I'm talking documents like birth certificates of children, your marriage license. You want to put in there any medical reports on your children, those kinds of things. You want to fill it full of information that'd be beneficial. So, you don't have to have the originals either. You can have copies of driver's license and things like that. All that in one place will come in so useful, because they'll sit there and say you're not the biological parents, and you know that you are, and you've had you have it recognized. So, I'm now at the closeness of my podcast. It's 11 o'clock and my show is over. I want to thank all of you that listened. I'll be on again tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please come there. And right now, I'm going to sign off, but I'm going to leave you with a message from my attorney, Vincent W. Davis. God bless you all. Thank you, Paulette. Oh, we have a new person that came in after the show. Chelsea Jordan Melton, welcome. Thank you for what you do, truly. I'll be giving you guys a call after receiving my case file. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again. All right, Chelsea, also let me know where you're from. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Paulette. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Harley. And thank you all. God bless you. And this is Bob Pace signing off.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.